welcome to the channel. Welcome to Banter in the Box. Transfer Frenzy. It's the Game Week 3 review. What a week in the Family Fantasy Football League. 10 managers went into the transfer market in Game Week 3. 2 of them making their 3rd transfer of the season. It's only Game Week 3. I was one of them. And 2 of those managers playing their one and only permitted wildcard tactical gambit. That means that of those 10 managers in total, 20 transfers were made in Game Week 3. In this edition of Banter in the Box, we've got your Game Week 3 winners and losers. Another entry to the wall of shame. Wildcards explained. The rules were sent out on numerous occasions to everyone before the season started. But just in case anyone's sitting there thinking, hang on a minute, what do you mean there was 20 transfers made by 10 managers? You can only make 1 transfer a week. I'll be explaining the wildcard tactical gambit again for anyone who's in any doubts. We've got a meme of the week and a manager of the season update. It was worth 3 manager of the season points last week. Did anyone get it right? Plenty of people had a guess this week. So the Game Week 3 winners, take a bow. Norfolk and Chance FC manager Angela Addis is a Game Week 3 winner for the 2nd week running. Angela climbed a place to 23rd in the table. Many of you won't be impressed with 23rd place, but 23rd is the highest Angela's been since the 24th of September 2021. Almost 2 years. The last time Angela's been as high as 23rd in the table. Take a bow also for the 2nd week running. Returning manager Green Top Milk James Bloomfield. He climbed a place to 19th. You have to go back to the 16th of August 2020 for the last time James was as high as 19th in the Family Fantasy Football League over 3 years. Take a bow also. No cock for me manager Sarah Goodwin. Sarah climbed a massive 8 places in Game Week 3 up to 8th. And in all of her time, it's not that long in fairness, but in all of Sarah's time in the Family Fantasy Football League, she's never ever been as high as 8th in the league table. But the biggest Game Week 3 winner, take a bow. Megan Hoxley Chamberlain manager Megan Hoxby. Megan was the biggest climbers in Game Week 3, jumping a massive 16 places up to 7th in the table. She got a first weekly win of the season with 61 points. The last time Megan was as high as 7th was the 26th of August 2022, over a year ago. They are all your Game Week 3 winners and all earning 1 manager of the season point. Your Game Week 3 losers, hide your head in shame. Benny United manager Mark Benwell, he's having a season from hell. Dropped 3 places down to 21st in the table. The last time Mark was as low as 21st in the table was the 19th of August 2021, over 2 years ago. Hide your head in shame again. No effing rude names manager Nikki Lee. Biggest fallers in Game Week 3, down 8 places to 16th. You have to go back to the 1st of June 2010 for the last time Nikki was as low as 16th in the table. Hide your head in shame also. Shrimpers FC manager Stephen Lee dropped a place to 22nd. Stephen hasn't been as low as 22nd in the Family Fantasy Football League since the 10th of May 2018. But the biggest Game Week 3 loser, hide your head in shame, Ryan Perrin, manager of Pez United, dropped a place back down to the foot of the table after climbing off bottom spot last week. The lowest scorers in game week 3 with just 15 points. Where they had them, one manager of the season point lost for those guys and girl. Wall of Shame. Well, that was what the Wall of Shame looked like before this week started. But this week we had another invalid transfer. No effing rude names manager Nicky Lee tried to make multiple transfers in a single week, but didn't have enough money to purchase a wildcard tactical gambit. So she makes the Wall of Shame for a second time this season. She's trying to rival Mark Benwell, who's been on the Wall of Shame 3 times this season. One manager of the season point lost for Nicky Lee. Now, wildcards explained. This is the bottom of the league table, and the reason I share this is because I want to draw your attention to the column marked WTG. WTG stands for Wildcard Tactical Gambits, and most managers have the number 1 next to their name in that column, and that's because they have one wildcard available to them this season. But this week, Sash Hammers FC manager Wayne Robinson and Clockhouse Rangers manager George Moody both made multiple transfers in a single week, thereby using their one and only permitted wildcard tactical gambit. Now, the wildcard tactical gambit did cost them £5 million. Something else you should note, as we are on the, what are we today, 2nd of September. At the end of each month, the teams in the bottom half of the table receive an extra £5 million budget. So you will notice that many of those teams have a budget of £85 million because they got the £5 million bonus because they were in the bottom half of the table at the end of the month. Wayne Robinson and George Moody would have had £85 million budget because they would have got the £5 million for being in the bottom half of the table at the end of the month. But they at noon on Friday, when the transfers for the previous week kick in, that's when the £5 million for the wildcard tactical gambit was taken, bringing their budget back down to 80 million. For anyone who's wondering, the reason No Effing Rude Names Nicola Lee has a budget of 80 million and not 85 million is because Nicky Lee was not in the bottom half of the table at the end of August. She dropped into the bottom half of the table because she lost 10 points for making a transfer. Eventually, she did make a valid transfer. So, WTG, if you've got the number 1 next to your name, it means you have, if you've got the money, if you can afford it, you can spend £5 million on a wildcard tactical gambit, which allows you to make multiple transfers in a single week. Just in case anyone was wondering, the next column, OEMTG, stands for Oi Ease Mine Tactical Gambit. Everyone has the number 3 next to their name in that column, and that's because every manager gets the opportunity to buy 3 Oi Ease Mine Tactical Gambits in a season. They cost £5 million as well, and they allow you to purchase a player that already belongs to another FFFL team. So, they are the wildcards explained. Meme of the week comes from the August manager of the month, the Mad Hatter, the Creed Bratton Society manager, went to the top of the table this week, taking home the manager of the month for August for getting the most points in the month of August. And he celebrated by submitting this meme to the Family Fantasy Football League Facebook group. It was a dancing Jose Mourinho with the caption, "I have nothing to say, nothing to say. Nothing to say. I have nothing to say. Nothing to say. I'm so sorry. I have nothing to say." Well, He's using an awful lot of words for a man that has nothing to say, clearly relishing being top of the Family Fantasy Football League. And I like the meme as well, Jordan. One Manager of the Season point to you, Mad Hatter. Who the fuck is that? It's a picture of a current Family Fantasy Football League manager, and it was worth 3 Manager of the Season points. And 5 managers had a guess. Benny United manager Mark Benwell thought that was a picture of Niall Ponsford, the big Bostacoglis manager. Ontario Grizzlies manager Neil Hatch thought that it was a picture of Legends 23 manager Keith Simons. No Cock for Me manager Sarah Goodwin thought that it was a picture of Gobi Desert Canoe Club manager Pops Hoxby. I've Got a Life manager Mops Hoxby thought that it was a picture of the Creed Bratton Society's Mad Hatter. And Average Joe's manager Joe Hoxby thought that it was a picture of Sashhammer's FC manager Wayne Robinson. I can tell you that none of those guesses were correct. So the Manager of the Season table looks like this, and it's a 3-way tussle at the top of the table. I've Got a Life manager Mops Hoxby, the big Bostacoglis manager Niall Ponsford are joined by Norfolk and Chance FC manager Angela Addis at the top of the Manager of the Season table. Angela Addis going joint top for being a Game Week 3 winner. Sarah Goodwin up to joint 4th for being a Game Week 3 winner. Stephen Lee drops to joint 6th for being a Game Week 3 loser. Mark Benwell drops to 11th for being a Game Week 3 loser. Nikki Lee drops to 12th for being a Game Week 3 loser and appearing on the Wall of Shame. And the Mad Hatter climbs to joint 13th for getting the meme of the week. And then there's obviously a whole host of other managers in the bottom half of the table that haven't got many Manager of the Season points. So we are rolling it over. It's now worth 4 Manager of the Season points. It's a current Family Fantasy Football League manager, and we've had 10 guesses now, which means, if my math is correct, you have a 1 in 18 chance of getting it right. But don't go too early, because we are entering the international break. Last weekend of Premier League action this weekend, and then there's a break of 2 weeks because of the international break. And also FFFFL HQ is closing until Thursday the 14th of September. I think it's the 14th of September. It's Thursday week FFL HQ reopens, because I'm off on my hollybobs. So don't go too early with your guess. 1 guess per manager over the course of the next roughly 2 weeks, until we return on Thursday the 14th of September, where I will be sharing the Game Week 4 review. You can still make transfers whilst FFL HQ is closed. You'll get to make 1 transfer per week, unless you want to spend £5 million on a wildcard tactical gambit and make multiple transfers. But I almost certainly won't be able to check that your transfers are valid. It's covered under the rules that you have to check your own transfers. You are responsible, but I, out of the kindness of my heart, check whether transfers are valid. I don't do it out of the kindness of my heart. I do it because I hope they're wrong, and then I can stick you on the wall of shame and shame you in the Family Fantasy Football League Facebook group. But unlikely I'll be able to check them until I get back. Please make transfers if you want to, but make sure you check them carefully yourself. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, take care, be safe, bye-bye.